Good morning. I'd like to call the December 8th Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for the City of LaPorte to order. It is 9 a.m. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Anthony Novak, if you'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Will do. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Member Romine is unable to attend today. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
I will second that. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Public comment. We will be watching public comment throughout. Jess Bruder, if I could ask you to monitor that. And we will have plenty of opportunity to look at that for anybody that has questions. As of right now, I do not believe we have any comments. So we will move to the Clerk Treasurer, Parthun, for claims approval.
Okay, we have fire fitness bonus, November 20th, 2020, in the amount of $11,717.64.
I move we approve the fire fitness bonus.
I will second that. I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Happy to pay this one out, right?
Absolutely. I'm sure the police will be just as large when we get to theirs. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
We have an additional fire fitness pay for Caney that was left off of that list for $355.08.
I move to the additional fire fitness pay.
I will second that. Discussion? Clerk Treasurer Parthun, is that just, he was left off, but that's his normal, that's what everybody would receive?
Correct.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
We have payroll for November 27th, 2020, in the amount of $401,563.85.
Move we approve the payroll.
I will second that. I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion passes 2-0.
We have civil city claims in the amount of $1,695,517.95, which includes December life insurance, perf, December trash service, 2012 GO bond payments, and several NSFs that are now caught up.
I move we approve the civil city claims.
I will second that. I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
We have December 8th sewage claims for $248,315.17.
I move we approve the sewage claims.
I will second that. I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
And then finally, water claims in the amount of $208,682.76.
I move we approve the water claims.
I will second that. I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Clerk Treasurer Parthun, while we have you, if you'd like to update the public, I think you've done a great job quickly responding to our COVID issue And if you just update the public on any new information, but I think the drive-through will not be available.
Yeah, until further notice, the drive-through is closed. So until and we had a positive COVID case in utility billing. What we have tried to do is work on a 2-by-2 rotation. So there were 2 employees working from the office, 2 employees working from home, and then they just flip-flopped every other day. At a certain point, this employee has been around all of the other employees. So we just got all of the utility billing employees tested. Once we find out results, we'll be able to open utility billing back up. They are all able to work from home right now, so they're checking voicemails and emails and responding to residents. It probably couldn't have happened at a better time because there's no bill due dates or anything like that. So we certainly want to be accessible to the public still, and we will be. We will, bear with us. Please be patient with us. We will be returning phone calls and emails. And you can always certainly call the clerk treasurer's office at 362-9512 for anything that you need immediate assistance with.
Ted Yoakum, I want to commend Clerk Treasurer Parthuen on her quick response. She was on it, so make sure you give her props on that. All right, excuse me. Let's move on to department heads for their to the point and brief update on their department. Bert Cook, LEAP.
Thank you, Mayor. Just very quickly this morning to the Board of Public Works, Mark, you're more than welcome to attend next Monday at noon. We're going to have a small groundbreaking ceremony for the industrial building, the new industrial building that's going to be constructed in the Thomas Rose Industrial Park. Qualls Development is building that project, and so we're going to do a small groundbreaking ceremony. You're more than welcome to attend. Thank you.
And Bert, I'd also like to amend with the media on here. They're included, they're available, and they'll get information. But as well, everybody in our community that wants jobs, everybody is the automatic response jobs. You can't have jobs if we don't have a facility to put a business in, correct? So this is our first step into having a spec building ready.
Yeah, that's correct, Mayor. Obviously, vacancy has been an issue for us. Very, very low vacancy throughout the city of LaPorte on the industrial side for a number of years. So this is beginning to address that issue, and this building will be constructed and available for tenants in late spring, early summer of next year.
Mike Fraze, Street Department.
We're on our second round of leaves. We're out in Romana area right now, and we'll finish up about a week and a half to finish the second round. It's going pretty quick.
Beth West, Transport.
Things are still going well at Transport. We're keeping busy even though we've adjusted our hours again due to COVID. We're trying to keep a minimum rider amount on our buses to keep everybody safe. I did receive notification yesterday from the state that we got our public mass transportation fund for the 2021 season. It is about $9,300 less than this year, but right now I'll take what I can get.
Absolutely. Jen Knoll, Human Resources.
We have just finished up open enrollment for all of our full-time employees, and we're moving into our Section 125 plan administration. So Section 125 is all of our pre-tax benefits. So hopefully we'll be done with that by next week.
And I also give props to Jen Knoll. She's been handling all the COVID issues that have come up to keep our department safe. So great work there. Jeff Batchelor, Code Enforcement.
Good morning, Mayor. We just finished up the dumpster program for the year. We're about 4,400 violations for the year also. That's all I have to report.
And Jeff, as this comes to a close here, December 24th, for the condemnation of 701 Maple, I just want to remind everybody that individuals that are still in that building, many of them have found other homes or alternative homes, but ones that are still in that building, that the condemnation is December 24th, that we've been working for some time. They've had 6 months to find alternative housing.
Yes, we started June 25th. That's when the condemnation was started. We gave them 6 months to find housing, and now it's coming up on the last 3 weeks.
Great. Mark Schreiber, Park Department.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to remind the public that our Letters with Santa program, where parents can send in a registration form and the children can get a letter from the North Pole. The deadline is Friday. We've already had 160 or so letters, quite a few still coming in, so a very popular program. The Boardwalk on Clear Lake opened up. I want to once again give Nick Minnick a lot of credit, and Larson Danielson as well, on the design, the engineering, and the construction. We are installing our all-season pier near Craven Pond, which is part of the Stone Lake shoreline improvements. That installation should be done today or tomorrow. And also, we'll be doing replacing fence at Hastings Park within the next week or so. So a lot of projects, and again, reminder to get those registration forms in for Letters with Santa.
I apologize, we had a little technical difficulty there. Tim Warner, Water Department, also modeling our brand new sweatshirt.
Thanks, Mayor. Good morning. No, the water department's just moving ahead with winterizing all of our facilities, installing heat tape, and just making sure we can keep the water flowing. We're full fledged in the main break season. Over Thanksgiving break, we had 4. We had 1 every day. We've had 2 since, so the guys are definitely gearing up for main break season, and we're continuing to install our new SCADA system for our supervisor control and data activation here at the water department. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Great work. Andy Snyder, Fire Department.
Thank you, Mayor. We are just as a department finishing up our annual performance ratings as required by state law. So we're almost done with those. Everything went really well with it. And we're gearing up with a lot of training right now for switching over to a new reporting system at the first of the year called Image Trend. We've already switched our pre-plans and our inspectors and training over to it, but this will be the incident reporting switching over. Nice thing about that is that Image Trend is provided to us free by the state, so we will no longer be paying the current subscriber that we use, Firehouse and ESO.
Great. Jerry Jackson, Sewer.
We're expecting proposals from engineering firms for the engineering for the Letters and Numbers Street project. Got a lot of calls and some site visits to go look at the project, and a lot of interesting ideas on how we might do it better. So that I'm very interested to see what those proposals look like when they come in on Friday. On our Lakeside project, we'll be staking the location of the grinder pumps here toward the end of the week or early next week, and that project's going to start kicking off.
Great. And just to remind everybody, I appreciate Tim Warner and Jerry Jackson doing all the great work on the bond issuance, and really neat to see that you guys, the first bill will not be at the end of January with Christmas ending and so forth, but will not be till the end of February. So great work to Jerry and Tim Warner.
Thank you.
Chief Paul Breton, Police.
We're holding our own with COVID after our outbreak last week. We're still down a few right now, but we're starting to see some relief of everybody coming back. Of our 2 that we were going to swear in next Board of Works meeting, at the final Board of Works meeting, 1 backed out. We're not sure what's going on there, but we have 1 that we'll be swearing in next Board of Works on the 22nd. So we'll have 2 openings to look for now.
We've got great momentum, and if somebody doesn't want to be here, obviously we don't want to continue that.
It had nothing to do with the city of LaPorte. We found out yesterday there's something else going on. We're not sure exactly what it is, but he's not our employee, so we didn't press.
Better now than in the future. So
right.
Tom Casey, plan.
Thanks, Mayor. A couple things. We've got BZA tomorrow night, one application that we're reviewing for a front porch that was completed without a permit, needs a variance. Working on assembling the team for the UEA, which will be taking over in 2021. I work with Bert and Mike Riley on that. Continuing to go with branding, coming up with our marketing campaign for 2021. And lastly, resolution for sign ordinance is being completed, which should go to City Council at the end of the month. That's it.
Jess Bruder, Communications, as we talk about branding and those wonderful sweatshirts, great Christmas gifts.
Yep, that's my only thing. This morning, Mayor, we have our vendor, Reprographic Arts, has come up with some new t-shirt designs, or I should say new t-shirt colors. So we are still working to expand the shop. And then we also are working on City of LaPorte masks that will be given to all city employees. But that's my only thing this morning. Thank you.
And I also want to thank the public. They've really appreciated the communications, really for the first time from the City of LaPorte, getting out in front of everything that's happening or requirements. And so the residents have appreciated that we focused on communication. So great work, Jess Bruder. Nick Minnick, Engineering.
Yes, so we had 2 paving programs this year, as you're aware. First one, we're going to be able to close out over the winter, and that'll help us be ready to get another program going with Community Crossing once that grant application comes out. The second program, we still have to complete Woodward, Chestnut, and McCollum, so that'll happen in the spring, so we won't close out that program over the winter. Last week, or the first, whenever that was, we submitted our asset management plan. We're responsible to submit an annual update to that asset management plan for paving on an annual basis, so that was submitted on the 1st. We're working on planning and design for the sidewalk and paving projects next year right now, and then we're also working on finalizing design for the 18th Street Greenway, which is the non-motorized pathway along 18th Street, spanning from I Street to Kingsbury and then running up Kingsbury so that our sidewalk network ties in. Again, thank you to the Healthcare Foundation for the generous grant to allow us to do that project. And on this timeline, which is great. And we are looking to bid that project probably in January or February.
That's a great project. Thank you again, Maria Fruth and the Healthcare Foundation for Frankie Highway. And that's fantastic. Also, roads is very important to the residents of LaPorte as this part of the season comes to an end. Nick Minnick will be making his, well, I guess you've been on one other time, but his second debut on roads. Follow up with an AMA, Ask Me Anything at 1 o'clock today, live at Facebook, to answer all your questions regarding sidewalks and roads. I think that covers everybody, if I'm not mistaken. Questions, I don't see anything from the public at this time. Ted Yoakum, anything from you that you'd like to add or ask?
Oh, Mayor, I think we lost you, or maybe it was me.
It looks like he's froze.
Looks like he's frozen.
I think everybody else is here.
Yeah, I think he's the only one.
I would just sit tight. He'll probably log back in a minute. In the meantime, does anyone know any good jokes?
After a public meeting, Tim.
There we go. Clerk Treasurer Parthun, annual CBIZ agreement.
So Cbiz has provided our fixed asset reporting and property insurance valuation for the city of LaPorte for the past 10 years. This is part of our annual report and is mandated by State Board of Accounts. So we are asking for approval of this annual agreement.
Do I have a motion?
I move we approve the annual Cbiz agreement.
I second that. Discussion?
So, just quick question, is this, in going through this, this is just an extension of the current, level of agreement for these updates, but it's not a physical review of assets, correct?
It's not a physical review, but we are due for a physical inventory next year in 2021. So
Okay.
you'll see a different proposal for 2021.
Okay, so when the fixed pricing, I was looking at electronics, so pulling out the paper copy, I'm not sure exactly where it was at, but the fixed price in the contract, that's for the annual update service, but then there's also those hourly rates that are stipulated. Is that just in case there's additional work that we might request?
Yes, and from what Joni has told me in the past, we never have to dip into that. The 3,400 is covered by what our needs are with State Board of Accounts.
Okay, all right, very good. Thank you.
You bet.
I do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Keystone Disaster Recovery Cloud Service Agreement.
So this is also from our financial system, our disaster recovery cloud service agreement. We've done this also for the past 5 to 6 years, in addition to how we back up on a daily basis, both in our office and through Think Tank. This is just an additional layer of protection for our financials. So we're asking for approval of this disaster recovery cloud service agreement through Keystone, which is our financial software provider.
I have a motion.
I move we approve the Keystone Disaster Recovery Agreement.
I will second that. Discussion?
The only thing, when I kind of went through this, I was kind of thinking, I wondered if could be provided by our internet service provider or other, tech support. But I mean, really, like, I think you just maybe hit it on the head when you said it was just kind of an additional layer, and it's pretty small, very small dollar amount. Yeah, just wanted to comment on that because I initially, when I went through it, was thinking, well, gosh, can't we have this covered somewhere else? But it is a small amount, and really, when it comes to the finances, it's probably a good idea to have just an extra layer of safety in the data. So just a comment.
So I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Request to add trash for service.
So we also have Larry Hansen, 703 East Lincoln Way, that is requesting to be added to trash service. He falls within the current ordinance requirements.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Yep, I move we approve the additional trash service request.
I will second that. Discussion. So for anybody that adds service, do they have to be paid up on any other bills, water, sewer, code enforcement, anything else before they can receive trash service? Or is that not a stipulation?
I think that's
Sorry, I was curious. I don't know more for Attorney Anthony Kovac. I don't know if that's.
Yeah, I don't know, Mayor. I don't know specifically if that is a requirement or not, to answer your question.
Okay. Great. Well, I do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? We can look that up separately. And
this service, Mayor, would just be added to their utility bills. So
great. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Request for downtown parking holiday. Annette Leffler.
Hello. Normally, every year we give the downtown parkers a 2-week parking holiday without the 2-hour parking being marked, just to allow people to shop and encourage people to shop in our downtown. And this year it's probably really, really important. Hopefully can help some of our downtown shops and restaurants. And that's it. It does not apply to restricted parking areas, only to the 2-hour downtown parking.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I will second that. I have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Well, so I guess my question with this, which I think it's a great idea, but in having heard about so many times when you've got folks who work downtown that park and then, you know, kind of get out and move their car every X number of hours, how do we prevent this from it being an opportunity for just basically more convenient parking for employees and, you know, shoppers, you know, now may have to like park further away?
We
Well,
can't.
I hope business owners will make sure, because they're the ones that will be hurt by it if their employees park where their customers could. So we hope that employers will, or the business owners downtown will make sure their employees don't take those spaces up.
Yeah, I hope so. That hopefully. Okay.
Well, I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, or an aye. Opposed, motion passes 2-0. Alco TV, cancellation of Alco contract, and I can take that if that's okay. This is just a contract. We are moving, or Jess Bruder, would you like to go ahead and take this?
I sure can, Mayor. We appreciate all the work that Alco has done for us over the years, but the pandemic has kind of made us realize that we need to offer a little bit more variety in our efforts to reach people and get them engaged in city government. So we've decided to go in a new direction, which leads us to cancel our contract with Alco.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I will second that. I'd also like discussion. I'd also like to add, we're excited. We'll be announcing a partnership with LaPorte School System, somebody in LaPorte, local TV, giving the kids of the school system an opportunity in the TV program, technology program. Jess, if you want to speak to that, great work doing that with the school system.
Yeah, we're excited to be partnering with the schools. It's a great opportunity for the kids to kind of get some hands-on experience working with their TV station, and also a great opportunity for us to be able to still have our meetings cast to TV as well as other channels. So,
But we appreciate Alco TV for all their efforts. I do have a motion and a second. All those in, all right, further discussion?
Let me
Yes.
just check, Mr. Novak, is there any reason why I should abstain on this vote? Just with being a member of the school board?
I would not think you have to, because we're not agreeing to the contract with the school system.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, this is just simply to approve the termination, which was done under the contract, so no need to.
Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure.
All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, or aye and opposed, motion passes 2-0. So, Jess Bruder, if you want to continue with the general service agreement for live streaming, which is another option that's been very popular thanks to Dunlin Media for this pandemic year of 2020.
yep, so we are looking to now partner with Dunlin Media. They are currently streaming this meeting and have streamed several of our meetings throughout this year. They are able to move us to Facebook as well as YouTube for live meetings, which only encourages people to get engaged. They're able to comment if they're not able to come, which has been a recurring theme this year. So we're excited to be partnering with them and very grateful for all the work they've done this year throughout the pandemic.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I will second that. Discussion?
Yeah.
Dunlin Media, Tim Frankie will be supplying the city with a conflict of interest statement up front for this year, correct, Anthony? And that's all we need from his perspective, since he is a member of Dunlin Media as well as a city council person.
That's correct.
No further discussion. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Tim Werner, request for quote.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We turned in some. Actually, I don't think it's a request for quote. It should be some bed openings that were turned in this week.
I've got them, Tim.
Okay.
Is this for Robert Street?
Yes, sir.
So clerk treasurer Parthon.
first bid we have is from H&G Underground Utilities LLC. The total quote amount is $66,479.84. 66479.84. The second quote we received is from Selge Construction Company Incorporated. The total quote amount for Selge is $93,392.50. 93392.50. I believe that's all we got. Two quotes. Sorry.
So before we begin, also Anthony Novak, we passed an updated version of an RBO yesterday, a responsible bidders ordinance, and that would be in effect since we passed it on Monday for today's opening.
That's correct.
Okay. So, Member Kosher, if you want, I think we need a motion based on approval of Water Department and legal.
Yeah. So yeah, I move we accept the quote. Again, based upon Water Department review as well as compliance with the new RBO.
And as well as legal.
And legal, yes, thank you.
I will second that. Discussion. Tim, it seems like we've got a big difference there.
Yeah, Mayor, we had actually budgeted the engineer company had put it right about 99,000. Once I get a chance to look at them, we were expecting to bring that number down quite a bit because there's some work that we can do on the project in-house. So it just makes me wonder if H&D subtracted that work off the quote right away. We kept it in there just in case something happened. It could be accepted, and we could always bring it down as we did the work. So I'll be checking. I got a meeting right after this is over with the engineering company to go over some stuff, and I'll definitely have an answer for you.
So Selge may have overbid. That would come out of their bid as well.
Yeah, exactly. Even the 93,392 is still below what we budgeted for. So I think we're looking good there.
All right, I do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Or aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Chief Breton, updated equipment request.
Good morning. The last Board of Works, I came before you asking for 10 new radar units, and then we would get 3 of those free from Stalker Radar. Well, this being 2020, when I called to make the order, I found out that I was quoting our units we've always used, and this only pertains to their newer ones, new model. So that boosted the price for about $3,200 overall. The original was $20,455. I'm at $23,650, $650. If I buy 9 of them and get 12, then get the 3 free. So I'm just asking the board to look at that and approve that. It drops me 1 radar, but it is better. It's the new updated system.
I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
I will second that. Discussion. So Chief, I want to make sure, because we talked about potentially buying more than 9 last meeting.
Right. This is about all we can swing right now. We were talking about doing the other ones when we decide how we're paying for the new cars. We're gonna, I believe, I talked to Courtney. Correct me if I'm wrong, Courtney, but that's kind of what we were thinking. We were gonna roll that into that.
Oh, so these will be able to come out of the 2020 police budget. After next council meeting, once we finalize the rest of the transfers, we'll be able to see what else we can do.
What will how many total do you need, Chief?
Oh, I need more than that, but this will cover the ones that are going bad now. I've got several that are inoperable, or one radar antenna works out of, or sometimes they go, so we don't even use them. We've been using handhelds that we have.
But I just want to make sure we don't lose the opportunity for free product.
I have till January 1st, December 31st, actually.
So we could, Clerk Treasurer Parthun could approve it at the next Board of Works meeting.
Yeah, we'll put the pressure on her, yes.
Well, no, I don't want to put.
No, I know. But we'll see. We'll have to see where we're at. And I'll still have time. I'll still have a window of opportunity there.
Member Kosher, I think you had the same concerns from the last meeting to make sure we take advantage of the free product.
Yeah, well, if certainly if it's something that Chief, if you feel like we're going to need these like relatively soon, then by all means, if we are expecting that need to come up very quickly, then we can take advantage of the deal. And if it's in the budget, I think that sounds like a great idea.
Right.
And it looks like, just from reading the data, I thought it was pretty interesting. Like that, I didn't realize this, but with these radars, so one system in a vehicle can see up to 4 different so you can see the speed of 4 different target vehicles at once.
Right, it'll pick out the fastest one. They can do rear and front at the same time.
Wow.
I assume that'll cover 4 lanes on Pine Lake then, because
sure hope so.
They're speeding, so we definitely need this. Okay, so I do have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or an aye? Opposed. Motion passes 2-0. Jerry Jackson, discharge permit, New York blower. Or Matt Amor. Okay, we will come back to that. Annette, can you just confirm Jerry?
There we go. I got it running.
Oh, here you go.
Sorry about that.
You're fine. Discharge permit, New York blower.
New York blower has been a long-term wastewater customer, and they're in good standing. They're conscientious. They're always in compliance. They have a small discharge of the sewer system. They're not a major customer. They have a phosphate metal cleaning process that they use before that generates wastewater, and they use that before they paint their parts. I would recommend that the Board of Works renew New York blower's discharge permit.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I will second that. Discussion?
Mr. Jackson, I assume that they've been compliant with all the I forgot what it's called, like the voluntary I forgot the wording, but it's where they're required to provide reports.
They have. They submit monthly reports to the wastewater department, pull their own samples, send them to the lab. We also pull samples, and so we make sure everything looks good. And they've done a good job. They're very conscientious about making sure they're in compliance, and we haven't had any issues. One comment I make is we're going to start removing phosphorus from our wastewater, which is a cost to the city to remove phosphorus. And we did some calculations to kind of see what their phosphorus discharge looks like for the city, and it's actually very minor. So they're really the only industry in town that has any appreciable phosphorus. The large source of phosphorus to the wastewater treatment plant is the water department. They add phosphorus as a corrosion control agent. But New York blowers is fine, and I definitely recommend approval.
Jerry, notice how Tim Warner leaves when you say that. He runs away.
We don't surcharge right now for phosphorus, but I could send Tim a surcharge bill for.
I said he ran away when he heard.
He's back.
I was listening.
All right, we do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion passes 2-0.
Thank you.
Transport holiday schedule for 2020.
Actually, that was a misprint. It should be the holiday schedule for 2021. With the holidays being approved by the Board of Works in November, of those, there are some days that we do continue to run service at a reduced hours because not all the businesses and schools in town close on the city holidays. So we're requesting to be able to operate on those days. And we've recently had requests from several of our riders that do work and go to dialysis if we could start running at 6 a.m. instead of 8 a.m. on our holiday hours. So they're able to still go to work and keep their appointments. Those that were going to work when we were running from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., they were having to take the day off because they actually start working at 6:30. So the holidays that were listed are the days that we would like to continue to run, but run at a 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. schedule on those days.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved for 2021, obviously.
Yes, 2021.
2021, and I will second that. Discussion?
I just have a comment. I think it's just, I think a lot of times city residents and folks in our community don't kind of think that much about transport. As I must say, a few years ago, I would have thought the same way. But, in seeing how important the transport service is for, as you kind of highlight here, folks who are going to work, going to their medical appointments. I recently just saw someone who was getting on transport with laundry to go to a laundromat. So it really is a critical service for so many people in the community. So thank you.
Yep.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Mary Ann Richards, open quotes for demo of 203 Pulaski Street. Great news. Mary Ann Richards.
Courtney, the clerk treasurer's office should have those.
I have them.
Clerk Treasurer Parthun.
Hey, the first quote is from J. Schaffner, General Contractor Incorporated. The total quote for 203 Pulaski Street is $38,400, 38400.00 for J. Schaffner General Contractor. The next quote is from PV Excavating Company Incorporated. Which they sealed very well. Sorry. The total quote for 203 Pulaski Street from Pavey Excavating Company Incorporated is $25,600, 25600.00. That's all. We got two quotes.
So again, this motion would be to approve demolition with Pavey Excavating based on approval of planning and legal, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Kosher, would you like to make that motion?
Yes, so moved.
I will second that. Discussion. And again, this is the house that is just south of Lennox Dairy, I believe the old Lennox Dairy. And Jeff Batchelor's done a great job with code there, and it's overdue for this home to come down. So I do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Approval of contract for demo of 104 Grove Street. Mary Ann Richards.
Last week, I emailed the proposed contract to you, and it's a standard boilerplate CDBG contract for demolition. I've also got the federal contract provisions attached to it, as well as his quote. And I'm asking for approval for the mayor to execute the contract and for the clerk treasurer to execute the contract. And then I will have Mike Pavey sign it. And hopefully we can get things rolling for the demolition of 104 Grove Street.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I move we approve the demolition contract for 104 Grove.
I will second that. And discussion. Mary Ann, both of these projects, 203 Pulaski and 104 Grove, those dollars will come out of CDBG funds for both.
Correct.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Jen Knoll.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jen Knoll, 2 updated job descriptions.
Morning. Yes, last week we met with the planning department, the director of development and planning, and also administrative assistant, just to go over their job description and duties. We wanted to make sure that we had everything accurate. Met with them as well as the mayor to go over these duties. So we added some and removed some based on what they're actually doing. So this is the most updated job description that we came up with. So just asking for your approval on the new language.
So moved.
And we will be approving both at the same time.
Yeah.
I will second that. Discussion?
Just quick question on what, could you just touch on like the important changes in the in these 2 job descriptions?
Yeah, one of the main duties was grant writing. So we have kind of removed that language out of these, where they will be responsible for the financial piece of tracking the grant, but not necessarily writing the grant. And so that was kind of the main thing. Additionally, we've added the boards and commissions that they are responsible for, so that there's more clarity on that. And then GIS coordination is a big part of the administrative assistant piece.
And Mark, you'll see that, and I want to thank again Jen Knoll and then also the planning department. We actually put descriptions and duties that are actually going on, but as well remove things that we know these individuals, there's not enough time in the day to do. Started this with the engineering department, and we will be moving to all the departments so that for the future we have accurate understanding of what the jobs do and not just filling paper. And I think, again, Jen has done a fantastic job. These are actual job duties, actual requirements that can be measured.
All right, thank you for going over that.
So I motion and a second. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Andy Snyder, request to lease vehicle.
Thank you, Mayor. I am requesting to add 1 vehicle to our lease agreement with Chrysler right now here in town. Problem that we've run into is we currently have 2 vehicles available to split between 3 of our departments, our training department, our mechanics, and our inspection department. And it's been complicated even more so with our training chief, Zach Caney, moving to straight days. Part of his duties is that he has a what's called a safety officer certification. OSHA requires that we have a safety officer on all of our major scenes, which would be anything that's life-threatening, which would be most all of our fire scenes. Zach currently on his off-duty time responds from home. This vehicle would assist with that he'd be able to respond lights and sirens from home, because in case of the safety officer, it's almost imperative that he's there shortly after all of our other crews are there. And so that would give us the 3 vehicles basically to cover all 3 of the divisions that are being done, covered with 2 right now. The money for this is in the current budget, so that would not be you wouldn't have to search for money anywhere else, and would be budgeted forward. To talk to the clerk treasurer about this, and would be budgeted in our lease agreement moving forward. And just as a note to it, it would be $4,860 for the annual price. We pay those annually, and those that lease agreement has been the same amount with Chrysler ever since 2003. So I would request that permission to sign for a 3rd vehicle with Chrysler.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I will second that. And Andy, just to confirm, this is basically required by OSHA that our training officer be there, so he has to have a vehicle to get there when he's off duty.
Exactly. Yeah. This is part of NFPA 1710, which OSHA adopted. This portion of it, which short of it, if we don't have a safety officer on scene and something were to happen, they could come. OSHA can and will come back and fine the city heavily for not having that position in place.
So I do have a motion and a second. Further discussion?
Chief Snyder, you said there, so the three vehicles, you got one as a safety officer, we just talked about, one inspector, obviously, I think we're, city building inspector. I shouldn't be, that's probably not the right term. What was the third one?
The mechanics.
Okay.
Yeah, mechanics use it's actually a pickup truck that the mechanics use, and they can travel between stations as well as get parts outside the city or wherever they need to go. A lot of times, all 3 entities need a vehicle, the 2 vehicles all at the same time, and it just doesn't work with people sitting around waiting for a vehicle to free up.
We only have one safety officer, so is it like 24-hour call for?
He would be on a 24-hour call for this. There are a few other individuals on the department that do have that certification, that can stand in his absence, had to say that it's, he's on vacation or something. We still are able to cover it, but part of his understanding with his job is that he is to respond to all of those calls.
Okay.
As a safety officer and stand in that position.
And then in situations where, like, if he's on vacation or has family commitments or whatever, then that vehicle would go to the other individual that would then kind of stand.
Yeah, exactly. If he's out of town for a long duration, a week or 2 or something like that, would be parked here, and one of those other people can stand in.
Okay.
And that available to them. Exactly.
I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed. Motion passes 2-0.
Thank you.
Mark Schreiber, big ass fans.
Yes, Mayor. We have the opportunity through COVID funds to purchase some fans for the Civic Auditorium. These fans we've been looking at, they're ceiling fans. We've been looking at for a few years now, pricing them out. They have a great benefit to the Civic in terms of energy efficiency. They will circulate air properly in the wintertime, getting the warm air to circulate better. And in the summer months, it'll reduce the temperature in the main auditorium by 10 degrees. What makes these especially attractive now is they have a new technology that does air disinfection. It's an ion disinfection technology, and that's what's made them allowable to be used for COVID funds. So we would like to ask for the board's approval to make these purchases with the COVID funds.
So, Mark, which company are you gonna buy from?
You just want to get me to say that it's Big Ass Fans.
There you go. All right, so
that is the name of the company.
All right, do we have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion. I will second that. And Mark, what does this do for allowing, because I know sometimes at the Civic it becomes too hot in the summertime to hold events. Does this change that at all?
Mayor, this, like I said, it will reduce temperature by 10 degrees. So, I mean, we will get some relief. Will allow us to extend into some warm weather more than what we already do with the upstairs. As we eventually look down the road to adding an air cooling system into the Civic, this will make it more efficient and will allow us to save dollars even during those months. So there is a energy efficiency that comes with this in the winter months as well as the summer months.
Great. So I do have a motion. Any further discussion?
Yeah, so I love the idea because having been at the Civic for events in the summer, it can get extremely uncomfortable. So and 10 degrees is a lot. So when looking through this estimate, so it looks like will it be a total of, is it 4 fans or is it 2 fans with 2 of the additional units that help with the disinfection?
Yeah, it'll be a total of 4 total fans, Mark.
May I?
Clerk Treasurer Parthone.
I did discuss this proposal with Nick Minnick, our city engineer, and I'd like to ask him to talk to the Board of Works about what this will do to the roof, the life of the roof, if you would, Nick.
Yeah, so Mark's, generally concerned with the indoor activity and the other thing that these really have a benefit for. We have a lot of roof repairs necessary for that specific type of roof and just the life of it and where it's at. And these fans do help distribute the temperature better, so kind of move the heat better, which reduces ice dams on top of the barrel roof. And with less ice dams, we should actually get a longer life out of our roof too. So not only is it a COVID benefit from a air purification and a habitation benefit for being able to hold events, but should also help with overall building needs as far as the roof is concerned.
And the ice dams are a problem at the Civic.
We've had situations, I think, at least the last couple of years, it has been a problem for us.
Yeah, and just to be clear, we are running to the end of the life cycle of this roof, but it will add a lot of years to a new roof once we are able to put one on.
Remember, we're going to hold him to that, so that's good to hear him put it in verbally confirm that. Thank you, Mr. Schreiber.
So now looks like what we're approving is the actual purchase of these fans. Is this with this amount, pretty significant amount? Is this something that we can bid, or is this a situation where this is the only company that actually has this kind of? I mean, I've seen these around lots of places. Are they the only company that has this capability to include this technology, or because we didn't put forth a bid on this, did we?
This is about the third time we've gone down this road trying to get the fans. They've been on the kind of capital improvement plan for the Civic for a number of years. The last time we went through this process, the issue we had was we could not find other manufacturers that provided this specific benefit. So we tried to get additional bids the last time around, and the reality is there just aren't a lot of manufacturers accessible to us that are going to provide this specific fan that we need. So we have in the past tried to get additional bids, and we have not been successful. So I know on projects where we work with NDOT and Federal Highway, we try not to sole source things, but in this case, it is a unique material for our needs, and really probably would not be able to get additional bids or quotes for something that meets the needs of the Civic.
I mean, and kind of having read through this, it does look like, and it does appear as though it's kind of cutting edge technology from that standpoint. I don't know if Mr. Novak is still on the line. Legally, are we fine accepting this proposal? Because once we approve this, we're moving forward, making the purchase, setting up install, right? There's no additional step, correct?
Well, admittedly, I don't know specifically since I'm not doing it day to day, but what I can suggest that you guys do is you can conditionally approve this. You could approve this subject to attorney review of authorizing this acceptance.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I can get you an answer in the next day.
Okay. Yeah.
We will amend the motion to that, but I think Mark and I have the same concern. We want to bid as much as possible, but this is a unique situation. The other fans that will come into bid will be standard, and not do what this can provide the Civic moving forward. So I think we're gonna be in a good spot.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
So I do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And again, I think this is important, as I have attended events with Mr. Kosher in the summertime at the Civic, and I think we definitely need some air movement there. So just saying as a separate note. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, 2-0. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Schreiber. And Mark, that was more of a shot at you versus the Civic, that we needed some air filtration so you don't sweat as much.
No doubt. I tell you, I mean, I think, yeah, we've been at the same event discussing how important it is to, like, well, not just, you know, to make people more comfortable, but by making people more comfortable, the Civic is going to be more accessible to more events, and more people will be interested in doing events there in that, you know, warmer weather.
Yes. All right, we'll move. Nick Minnick, open quotes, police station generator replacement project. Chief Breton, are you okay if we open these today? I wasn't sure if you wanted us to open or postpone.
You know it. It's only been 5 years working.
We get things done here. Nick Minnick, I assume, will you be turning this over to Clerk Treasurer Parthun?
Correct, yeah, we solicited quotes from 4 companies. We didn't give them a lot of time. Usually we would allow a full week. We allowed 6 days turnaround time. 3 of those companies were planning to submit bids, but I think we ended up receiving 2. Is that correct?
You received 3, Nick.
We did receive 3. The 4th one wasn't comfortable with providing information on short notice, but we did receive, 3 of the 4 quotes we solicited.
And Nick, Chief Breton, if either of you want to say before we open these, how important this is right now if we don't address this, what we're looking at.
Well, pretty much everything we do is computer-based anymore. Dispatch, all our report writing, everything. You were in my office, a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, and the lights were blinking. And if it goes down, everything goes down. Everything we're working on. We've had everybody that came to look at it, all these companies were very professional and came here. They said, oh my God, you were running on 100 amp. That was our original generator, and the building was redone in 97 and the motor's a 77. So you can kind of figure that they pieced something together back then to give us a generator. So it's something that's needed.
Clerk Treasurer Parthun, drum roll.
Okay, the first quote is from H&G Services. Herman and Getz Incorporated is what it says. One moment. The total quote is $114,935. 114935.00. Second quote is from Marquis Electric Incorporated.
I think that's Marquise.
Marquis, I'm sorry. Thank you for the correction.
That's the French pronunciation, Ms. Broken.
I took Spanish in high school and college. I'm sorry. The total quote for Marquise Electric is $126,565. 126565.00. And then finally, Larson Danielson. Larson Danielson's quote total is $140,210. 140210.00.
So do we have a motion to approve H&G based on, I guess that would be engineering and legal?
Courtney, do we need to have it approved now, or can we review?
Yeah, we will need to have it approved because we'll need to encumber the funds.
Okay, so can we approve pending review then?
So, Mr. Kosher, we will approve H&G pending approval and review by engineering and legal. And police department, we'll put them in there just in case.
Yes. So moved as stated.
And I will second that. Discussion? Nick, do these numbers surprise you? Or I know we've been around for the public, I guess, from their perspective. This isn't a generator to go pick up retail somewhere. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in this, correct?
Correct. Yeah. No. We kind of based our numbers off of two options. Right now, they have a natural gas generator, and that's what we kept in the bid. We could maybe do a diesel generator with a little less cost, but there's a lot more maintenance associated with that. And then there's the issue of fueling and refueling and things like that. So, talking to all of these contractors, I did talk through. They had some suggestions as far as different options and things like that. And that's why I wanted to make sure we reviewed the bids also. So, we might be able to look at some different options and see if we could get a lower price. But this is kind of the what we need at the police station. I assumed it was right in that $100,000 price range, a little higher, but kind of within the range.
I'm not sure I could support a diesel. I think there's a lot of extra work that goes with that, but I'll leave it to you as the professionals. Mr. Kosher, any other discussion?
No, just the figures do seem higher, just kind of what you might think of as a resident, but no doubt this is something absolutely that we must do. Were the funds so the funds are coming out of this year's funds, or they would come out of this year's funds, out of which budget?
It's coming out of the police budget.
Okay.
And also some CARES Act.
Gotcha. Okay. That's what I wondered if there was any additional sort of funding source that could be pulled in. So, okay.
And just to clarify, we do still have some, like I said, review. We did bid this as 3 items, not a lot of items, but 3 items. And decommissioning of the existing generator is part of that. And then the supply of a generator, and then the turnkey installation of the generator. So we can review the work necessary to remove an existing generator from the basement of the police station, which is not an easy task at all, and see if even it makes sense to maybe move that one task into another year or something like that. But that would still get our generator installed and up and running. So we can look at different options and try and make sure we're doing what the police station needs to continue to serve its function.
Once it's approved, how fast do you think this could be installed?
We gave them quite a bit of time because lead time on generators is always questionable. So it could take 60 to 90 days to get a specific generator in. So I think we gave them something like 145 days to complete the project.
Okay. And Chief, how long have you been waiting, honestly, for this generator? Have you talked about it?
We've been having troubles with the one we've had for at least 5 years. It's been inoperable for, I think, right around 2. And when they built this, they put it in the basement. This is going to be outside. I don't know why it was in the basement. That's a big cost too that Nick's talking about, and everybody, looking at trying to get around this thing. That's why he was saying that was an option.
Okay, I do have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, oh, I'm
I
sorry.
was just saying, so in the meantime, do we have, you know, pardon the pun, but like a backup plan for the backup generator? Should power go down, what can we do?
We have to reset everything. We've gone to using the computers in the cars, and the radio and everything we have to call IT in when the power comes back on, and get everything back up and running. We've lost reports that guys were working on, things like that. It did not, because it didn't back up, because it was just a rapid shutdown.
Okay.
And so if we want to, I just want to add, if we want to compete with the best communities around, we're making some tough decisions with water and sewer infrastructure, $100 million that we cannot ignore. We can't be the community that competes with the best when we're having these type of discussions. And I know it's difficult. Clerk Treasurer Parthun has been very supportive financially and responsible. And, in next year's budget, we're going to do more with that budget and spend less than this year. So we're being responsible. But if we want to be that community people are proud of and that compete with, we have to begin addressing this. And it has happened this year.
And there was no foresight. When they put that generator in, we didn't have the computer systems we have now, the battery backups, and that's what would kill this thing, that when the power went off, an officer had to hurry up and run down there and actually hold this main breaker to try to get everything running. And because the radiator's on the roof, there's a separate pump that runs that. It looks like Oz down there is what it looks like. It was just kind of pieced together.
Yeah, we got to do it.
Just another example of moving us forward, just like the cleanup at Newport Landing. You just aren't going to sit and let contaminated materials sit in Newport Landing, which is our downtown, and let the future of our community have to deal with that. So we're doing things that many administrations before us even started. When you talk about contamination, when you talk about these different issues, it's necessary to address. And I don't know how we would look our residents in the face by ignoring it. So with that, we do have a motion and a second. Did I approve it?
Oh, not yet.
All right. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Thank you. Unfinished business. I think we're pretty good. Mr. Kosher, if you did not know, Pop Warner has a national championship cheer team from that has just recently won for the Laporte, and so great news there. But other than that, any thoughts, comments?
Mayor, if I might, real quick, just to clarify Mr. Kosher's question earlier, that is for 2 very large fans, not 4 fans. The other 2 lines are for installation. So 2 large fans, not 4, just to clarify.
Awesome. If it was from the small fan company, we might have needed 4, right?
Correct. Yes, big fan company 2.
But the 2 you're getting them are from the large corporation.
Correct.
Okay, great. All right. Ted Yoakum, any thoughts from the Herald Argus? Questions, concerns?
Nope, I'll let you guys know if I think of any.
If you need help with titling on the fans as the headline, we'll be glad to help you.
I'm already coming up with puns as we speak.
I look forward to it.
And just to add one more thing, I did, this is one of the conveniences of a virtual meeting here. When we start looking at suppliers and trying to find fans, I checked Granger. Granger is one of the best sources we have for industrial components for this type of thing. And the largest fan they have available, smaller than the one we're getting, that is not manufactured by Big Ass Fans. So Big Ass Fans is the only fan that they have available with the 20-foot blade diameter, which is what we are receiving. So they don't have comparable manufacturers, just to clarify.
Perfect.
Thank
Way
you.
to add to it, Nick. There you go. All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I will second that. Everybody have a great day. We are adjourned.
Take care.